Going to be a beautiful day in Boulder, looks like. About 65 degrees or so and sunny. Be a 1:30 kickoff, so that'll be awesome. Excited about that for our guys to be able to wake up and play ball, and excited for that for our staff. So when we get home, it's not 4 in the morning, as we have a Friday game the following week, so a shorter week of preparation. Good couple days of practice since I saw you last. Only injury update I would say is Josh Donovan will be more of a game time decision in regards to his leg. Should be fine, but we have Josh Baker as well available, so both of those guys will be available to go, I would believe, on Saturday. Other than that, no changes in the 2 deep from last week. Or from what you guys received, I should say, this week, Monday. Other than that, we know we got a team that is in a very similar situation in terms of a team that's a good team that's played some really good teams. They've played Arizona State, they've played USC, they've played Texas A&M, who obviously we know just beat Alabama, and they've played Minnesota. I think that they probably, after the bye week, are doing everything they can to get their ship turned around, as we are. So we feel by playing, BYU and San Diego State and UCLA and Oregon the way we have recently, very similar in that regard, and we need to now take it one step better, one step further, and see if we could close out a game.
Go ahead, Michael. What have you seen from Gunnar Cruz the past few days, and what are the keys for him to be successful in this role?
Yeah, well, the first thing is he certainly is back to embracing being the starting quarterback. I think sometimes you wind up, it's easier to kind of like phase away when you're not the starting quarterback, or you feel like you've been demoted and you kind of hang back. He's reestablished his personality, his confidence in terms of in the huddle is very critical, and the way he's really talked and the way he's approached the game in terms of preparation has been very good. He's thrown the ball extremely well, which we know that he can. He can certainly has the ability to stretch the field. So he's done a nice job there. But, our goal would be to make sure that we keep him comfortable, and we don't want to be in a situation where, he feels as if he has to win the game himself. That's not what you're looking for. And I think Jordan, similarly, after the turnover game he had against Oregon, we kind of wanted him not to feel like he had to win the game himself either.
Brian, you've seen the struggles that Colorado's had on the offense. It's kind of similar to you guys. But what about their defense? What have you seen from their defensive side?
I think they're a little different than us offensively. I think offensively, really, we've played very well, except for the fact that we haven't scored points in the red area. We've been able to move the ball kind of the last 3 or 4 weeks pretty at will in a lot of ways. But defensively, I would say that they're in a situation where they're very good. They got a really, really good Mike linebacker, who I think is probably one of the best we've played. I think that they have 2 good edge rushers that have great length. And I know their DB coach. I know both their DB coaches. And Brett Maxey's been in the NFL forever, and Demetrius Martin has been in the Pac-12 forever. And those guys are going to play like tough and physical in-your-face defense. So I would expect a very similar defensive approach to the way we play. A lot of press man coverage, a lot of physicality involved. And, they expect their linebackers to make a lot of tackles. Chris Wilson, their defensive coordinator, I coached his son at UCLA, so I've known him for a while as well.
So does that make it so that in practice this week you had that familiarity that you didn't have to use as much of a scout team as your regular defense against your offense?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's really important for where we are as a program anyway to practice as much good on good as we can. As we're trying to develop and improve each week, I think the more you can practice against your starters, the better. And then the more carryover you have in terms of a scheme, you could even practice more periods against them. Especially, we had one-on-ones yesterday we had more pass periods yesterday. that we can really work through kind of the way we defend the passing game and the way Colorado does, which very similar. Both teams are very good against the pass.
Alec?
Jordan and Gunnar are kind of two different style quarterbacks. Do you change the offense at all with Gunnar back in there, or did you change it when Jordan was in there to fit their skill set?
Well, I mean, I think that there are certain things that you can't do with one versus the other. That you avoid to do. Let's say you avoid asking one guy to not play in their strengths. Jordan is a great, I would say a very good ball distributor, kind of like a point guard. That's kind of what you are looking for, when you're developing that quarterback position. Gunnar's more of a big, strong, kind of downfield passer, and so what we've got to work on is making sure that we're able to do it all, and be able to continue to develop Gunnar, but understand Jordan's just going to play it a little differently. He's also been doing it for a little longer, so he has had a little bit more of a knack. Gunnar, we're going to have to continue to develop and continue to help feel comfortable back there.
And then how do you go about replicating kind of the success Gunnar had against BYU going forward?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I'm hopeful that he'll replicate it. That it doesn't have to come from us per se. I think that he played a really good football game against BYU, and the San Diego State game. He played 6 football plays, and we were down 21-0. So when he came off the field after the 6th play of the game, it was 21-0. And I think when you go back in on the 7th play of the game, knowing it's 21-0, your mindset's a little bit off. And I think you start feeling like you got to press. You got to score a 21-point touchdown. And then the next drive, he went out there and we completed the ball to Stanley, and it was 21-7. And then it was 28-7. And then we were never able to get into a rhythm. And I think Gunnar always felt he was playing behind the 8 ball. So if we could play a more normal football game, although BYU is 21-3 at halftime, I think that we were able to get the momentum of the safety, the momentum of the short field, the momentum of the touchdown. I hope if we can play a more balanced football game, run the football better than we did against those two teams, that would help us for sure.
Is the ability for a quarterback to see the field, is it more instinctual or an innate ability, or can quarterbacks really learn how to do that and be able to make your progressions down? I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I do. I think that I think part of it is innate. Part of it is you're able to bring your blood pressure down, bring your heart rate down, and kind of just have vision, have wide field vision. They always say see a lot, see a little, see nothing, right? Or see a little, see a lot, see nothing. And, the biggest thing with that is, if you're a quarterback and you kind of can see right here and you get a good feel for it, you can see as much. If you start trying to see everything, it just all kind of runs together. And I think one of the issues with him is that sometimes when you're trying to see everything, it just kind of looks like there's 22 guys just running. So if we could kind of focus his vision down a little bit, and really help him understand, 2/3 of the field is plenty. That'll give you enough read. But I would say that I do think you can get it through repetition.
I was going to say, is that hard to do in the course of a week or 2 weeks or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's harder to do over the course of a few weeks than it is a few months to a few years. But I believe, Gunnar, he turned 21 yesterday, but he still has 3.5 years of football left to play. And I think that as he continues to go through his progress and his progression, he'll be more and more comfortable with knowing where to look and who his indicators are. Sometimes a safety is your indicator, right? So if you could find that weak safety, he might be able to tell you everything. Sometimes it's a linebacker's your indicator, and then he has to start looking for those indicators to help him play the game faster.
Rich?
Can you preview the Colorado offense? Last time out, they had a really good day running the football. What do you see on film?
Yeah, well, they have the Pac-12 Player of the Year from last year at running back, and they ran for 407 yards against Arizona a year ago, and we just let up 300 yards rushing. So I would assume that they're going to try to go back to giving the ball to Broussard and give him a chance. They have a quarterback who could run. They have a quarterback who I saw him break a long one against A&M. So we have to be ready for the fact that they're going to use their running game to their advantage. They're going to try to get us in, gap integrity issues. We worked very hard this past week to continue to get better in that regard. We all know it's explosive runs, right? That's what it all comes down to. If you eliminate explosive runs, you run for about 140 yards a game. If you get explosive runs, you could run for 2.25 a game. We haven't gotten many explosive runs, so we're living at about that 130-yard a game, other than Oregon. We got some explosive runs. I would say the other part is your quarterback has to be able to get you 50 yards. Their quarterback got him 50, can get him 50 yards. So I would expect that. I think that they're probably better in the passing game than they've shown. I think they got some talented guys at the skill positions that we've got to be ready for. And I think that they probably will try to, throw some balls up on the corners and see what that looks like. Defensively, I would expect them to be very sound and very good.
We have about 5 minutes left. We'll start with Michael.
You told us a little bit about Jordan McLeod's recruitment the other day. What about Gunnar Cruz? How did that all kind of come about? Who contacted whom? What were the conversations like?
Yeah, Gunnar Gunnar put himself in the portal up at Washington State. I want to say, again, pretty early on, maybe February-ish. I think January, February. I'm not exactly sure. Knew we were in a situation where, we took Gunnar before we took Jordan. So Gunnar knew we only had one quarterback on the roster that was a scholarship player, and that quarterback only played one game, and the quarterback was a freshman. And actually, he and Will knew one another from high school. So I think Gunnar felt it was an opportunity for him to come home, and also an opportunity to go play. There wasn't anybody in the building other than a couple of guys that walked on here that was even competing with Will. So he felt he immediately could come down here, complete it, and immediately start competing. So it was not a long recruitment, to be honest with you. It was, he called, he reached out, he sent his film. His quarterback coaches, his private quarterback coaches that we had some relationships with, were able to send some stuff over, get to find out about his character, look at his transcript. He's a 4.0 student, and he was an opportunity. We felt we needed to bring competition in here. We needed to bring quarterbacks in here that, were scholarship quarterbacks and go compete.
Justin, how did the walk-on tryout go the other day?
It was fine. There was nobody at the tryout that is going to be on the team, but we were able to open up our facility, have 60 or so people go through the process. We were able to look at a kicker. We were able to see if there was anybody else that was passed over due to COVID and not being able to finish their senior year, and then move forward. But no one will be new on our roster until our recruiting class gets here.
The other day, you had said that personal things kept JB out, and he's not on the depth chart now. Is there an update on his status?
No, JB's not going to be with us for the games. It will enable him to most likely have another year of eligibility to be able to help us as he's working through some other things.
Rich?
How much emphasis in practice this week did you put on red zone? I know you moving the ball in between the 20s, but coming away with the field goals.
Yeah. Too many field goals, too many missed field goals, too many penalties in the red area. And it's interesting because it's really comes from all 11. There's not like a common theme or a common trend. So we went down in the red area on yesterday, which normally we don't. We'll be in there 80% of practice today. We'll be in there tomorrow at practice, and we'll continue to try to find ways to improve. Those 4-point plays are critical in a game, huge, and it's unfortunate that we've walked away, with first and goals inside the 10, 3 different series, and we have 3 points to attest for that.
Last one, Michael.
2 questions for you. One, what has Booby Curry done to earn more playing time, and where would you like to see him improve?
Yeah. Booby Curry's done. I hate to use the word everything right? But at practice, he's just always jumping in. He's always wanting to go. He's always competing. He's more confident. because he knows the system so much better than he did, let's call it in the spring. He was a really important guy to bring back. He was in the portal when we got here and brought him back. And then I think when he was coming back, it was a lot of offense to learn for him. And as he continued to become more and more comfortable and more confident, I think he's begun to show where he can excel. The other part of it is, I believe when you catch a touchdown pass, you become much more confident. And when he caught 2 in a game, I think his confidence really skyrocketed, and the receiver position to me is about confidence. Now, where he's going to continue to improve is he's going to be he has to be better run after the catch, right? You don't want to. There's that whole catch and fall, which only gets you where the ball was completed, and then there's the plays we all see on SportsCenter where you catch it and go, and we're really working heavily on being able to catch the ball with your hands, not your body, so you can catch the ball and go.
Sure. And did you show the team any highlights of previous games against Colorado to maybe boost their confidence or put them in the right kind of spirit? Because obviously Arizona has had some pretty good success against Colorado in recent years.
Yeah, I think I have not done that. There's been plays we've shown them that might have been successful. Like, hey, there's a similar zone play or whatever it might be, and Michael, watch you take this, for 25 yards, or, a couple of plays, Plummer takes off and runs, right, the first or second play of the game. But no, we don't spend much time because the team's so different. Our team is so different, and they have a different defensive coordinator than they had. So we're really focusing on the Colorado team this year and the highlights of the plays we've made against the other 5 teams.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.